The 49ers added for Skyy Moore, or traded for Skyy Moore, I should say. But what exactly did we get? Plus, how are Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch going to put together the puzzle that is the offensive line? We'll head to the film and pick out who they should keep and who they should let go. What is good, everybody? Welcome to another Gold Standard podcast. We are part of the Pro Football Insiders. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera, alongside Johnny Dale from the Johnny Dale Football Academy. How you doing on this fine Thursday, Johnny?
I'm doing good. And, I had to sport a goatee today because I saw the other day in the chat with one of your shows that there was a bunch of people asking where the Stats goatee was. And so in honor of all of those people, it's gone but not forgotten. I decided to bring back a goatee today.
The memorial goatee. Well, that is very cool of you. Thank you very much. If this is your first time joining the show, thank you for hopping aboard. This is the show where we break down the 49ers film and then the NFL steals all our money.
Yeah. And it's I don't know if people are familiar with Rick Beato. He's got a huge YouTube channel, 5 million subscribers. He was a music producer. He's dealing with the same issue with some of the big studios that are out there that are doing the same exact things that we're having experienced us. What basically is happening is that large media companies are abusing the YouTube rules and procedures to try and keep the little man like us down. But we're not going to let him keep us down.
Nope. We don't care if the NFL takes all the money. We're still going to do it. We could just call this show the demonetization station, apparently. But we're going to keep going. We'll get to the offensive line in a minute. But first, Johnny, the news came out yesterday. Number one, that Russell Gage is now hurt, and he's going to miss a week to 10 days with a knee injury. But also, the 49ers have been hunting for a wide receiver. They finally got a wide receiver in Kansas City Chiefs second-round pick, Skyy Moore. Your reaction?
Was like, okay. I guess he's a warm body that should know the route tree as far as the names. A lot of the names of the routes between Reed's system and Shanahan's system are going to be pretty similar. So he's not a huge learning curve as far as the route tree. And it seems like a warm body to bring in to do that, to run some routes that the defense at least has to put a guy out there over them. It's not like I'm sitting here going, okay, we got some big addition to the wide receiver room that's going to move the needle in any way. This is more like trying to keep your head above water is what it feels like.
Yeah, this is literally, we need a body. I mean, you could argue now with the official news of the suspension for Demarcus Robinson that the Niners are down 7 wide receivers. 7. Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Jordan Watkins. Malik Turner was supposed to be a warm body. He is now hurt. Russell Gage is now hurt. And it is comical. So, I saw David Lombardi tweeting yesterday about well, look out for screens and end arounds for Skyy Moore. It's like, no, man, they just need a dude that can fill a jersey.
Yeah, it was something, I pulled up right before we came on air. I was just talking with Rob about this. I pulled up his film on NFL Pro just to see, because they have some great filters to search for things, and search Skyy Moore. And it gave me, he took 100 snaps all of last year, 100 snaps all of last year. And then I was looking for catches and targets, and I saw 3 targets. There was 2 in the Chargers game, 1 in the 49ers game. And one of those targets was Patrick Mahomes being flushed out of the pocket to the right and was a throwaway. He literally threw it 6 yards out of bounds, where Skyy Moore had to run out of bounds to even try and get a hand on it. It wasn't even a target. The other one was early in the game. It was a 3rd and 2. They throw it out to him. He's running a stick route on the right, and it goes right through his hands, and they had to punt the ball. Then he had a drop against the 49ers. So those were his 3 targets last year. This is somebody who's clearly fallen out with the Chiefs. I don't know all the reasons why. I mean, I didn't even see him run many routes. Most of the plays he was in were running plays, and that the Chiefs are not a running team. So it's a warm body who knows an NFL route tree. That's about it.
I do think this probably spells the end for Jordan Bergen's time with the 49ers, at least on the active roster. Maybe they'll try and get him on the practice squad. They don't really like him as a regular wide receiver. He was there purely as a kick returner. They just have too many injuries to keep that kind of a guy on the roster. Skyy Moore can do some returns. I think he had a punt return for a touchdown in the last preseason game, actually, like an 88-yarder. So I think the Niners will say, you know what? Skyy Moore could be a back end of the roster receiver. He can do the special team stuff, and we can try and stay afloat until we get some of these guys back.
I mean, basically, he's a younger version of Trent Taylor that they had in last year. That he's there as the back end of the receiver depth chart that can be a punt returner. This also speaks to one of two things: either they don't want to risk Jacob Cowing on special teams returning because they need him in the lineup, or he is not expected to be back week one. It's one of those two things. This, in whatever way you look at this, this is not good for the 49ers wide receiver room. It means that somebody is not going to be up as a wide receiver. So, and they're shuffling things around. That's what this speaks to me.
And you had a good tweet. Skyy Moore is obviously only here because of the injuries, and the injuries have dominated the conversation for the 49ers so far throughout training camp. And Shanahan has asked about it. He's taken a lot of criticism, but you pointed out on Twitter yesterday, and I've been saying it also, this is not just a Shanahan thing. For some reason, I don't know if we disturb the football spirits or what is going on, but the 49ers have never been healthy seemingly for 20 years, going back to Chip Kelly, Tom Sula, and Harbaugh. You wrote the only year they weren't top 10 injured was 2012, and they went to the Super Bowl. I mean, 13 out of 15 seasons, they can't even get average injury luck, Johnny.
And it becomes beyond frustrating as a fan because, one, you hate and you get tired of saying at the end of the year, well, injuries. I mean, I remember during the Harbaugh years, like you look at the next season. I remember coming out of 2013 into 14. It was like, well, this next season, if this guy can be healthy, and if this guy's healthy, and if this guy's healthy, we have the makings of a really strong team. And then they have 17 guys end the year on IR, and you go 8-8, and Harbaugh gets fired. I mean, that's been the story of the 49ers every offseason. Well, this next season can look really good because on paper, these guys are healthy. We're great. We've been saying that for 13 of the last 15 years. And to be not even into the regular season, and it feels like you are losing one player a day, this is wild. Things are not trending in the right direction. This is trending in the wrong direction. Something is wrong. And I don't know if it's just like an organizational issue. If there's an issue with the equipment in the training room, like that it's not a personnel in the training room issue. Is it an issue with the field? Is an issue with like something is wrong. There's something systemically wrong. You cannot just say it's luck or deep playoff runs. You don't see this with Baltimore. You don't see this with Buffalo. You don't see this with Kansas City, where it is this level of injuries. It's not just deep playoff runs. It's not just physical play. There's something else at play here. And I don't know what it is, but something has to change.
I don't know how do you even figure that out? But like, it has taken a toll on this team for far too long. This year, it's obviously taken a toll already. They've had more than 20 different defensive linemen on the roster. We talked about the wide receivers. Every running back other than Christian McCaffrey is hurt. And that's not an exaggeration. Every running back over Christian McCaffrey has been hurt. It's wild. And we just wait. Like, I just sit and hold my breath. And I said it yesterday when the Jacob Cowing news came out, Johnny. They have not had a practice where everyone that starts the practice finishes the practice. I don't think they've had one this year.
No, they haven't. This is considering that they're doing like 3 days on, 1 day off. They have not come out of a game, a practice, anything like on-field football activities. They have not had a player not get injured. And this even goes back to OTAs. There was guys getting hurt every day in OTAs. When you do any day that you go out on a field and do something football related and somebody's going to get hurt, something is wrong. Like this is not luck. There's something, and I don't think it's just practicing too hard. I don't think that's the issue. There's something else. There's something. I know we've all talked about their warmups, and different players come out and said we warmed up more than any other time when I've been in San Francisco. So I don't know what it is, but something is wrong in the way that they're going about football. It's just this cannot be just normal.
Bo Adams said, I got injured just watching the game. I mean, it's at that point now. We're next, Johnny. We're going to be going on the injured list. We're going to strain a rib or something. I don't know. But I am literally just holding my breath, praying. I mean, Ricky Pearsall got banged up and had to go to the trainers in practice yesterday. Luckily, he came back and was fine. But I am just terrified now. Like, I'm just petrified watching this last preseason game and just cancel everything. Forfeit the game, cancel it all. I can't take it anymore.
And you're also looking at that there's a lot of guys, a backlog of guys, even though a lot of these players are not long-term injuries, they're missing time getting in football shape. So that exposes you to even more risk come week one. This isn't like, you get the injuries out of the way now. No, it doesn't really work like that. When you have like a strained hamstring, you may be good to go in 6 weeks, but it's still the strength of those muscles is not 100%. Like your performance can be 100%, but your risk of re-injury is still there, and it's higher than if you hadn't experienced that in August. So it doesn't give me any confidence that this is a year we're going to go, yay, the injury luck is on our side. We got all of them out of the way in August. There's nothing that gives me hope for that, or nothing that says like I have confidence that that the players or the training staff is going to get people in line and get things worked out to where they will be healthy throughout the year.
Well, I'm ready to be hurt again, Johnny. So we'll see how it all turns out. In that vein, let's actually look on the field, because that's normally what we do on this show. 49ers offensive line. They've got injuries there, of course. Both starting guards are injured. We don't know when Dominic Pooney's going to be back. Ben Barch is going to play with a Winter Soldier metal arm, apparently, that hopefully can get him at least on the field for week one. But they've got some questions behind the 5 starters. We know it's going to be Trent, Barch, Brendel, Pooney, and Colton McKivitz. That's 5 right there. How many more linemen do you think they're going to keep? And who do you think ultimately gets those final, 3, 4 spots?
Yeah, I think that's a really tough question when you start looking at how this roster is going to shake out, because of the injuries, the defensive line, because of the injuries to the wide receiver room. How do you start shaping this roster where you're going to have enough people to practice, enough people to field a game day roster, have enough special teams players that you won't be overloading at the offensive line? Because, I mean, we're looking at 7 wide receivers to get 3 on the field. I mean, this is wild. So how many receivers do you have to carry in your week 1 roster and to make the final 53 to field actual enough receivers to have a team? So where do you start pulling those roster spots from? I mean, there's only 53, and you double up every spot. When you include nickel and slot, you're looking at, what is that? That's a 48 roster slots already. And then you have 3 for your specialists. You're at 51, and that's only doubling up every position. Are you going to go into the year with only 2 running backs? No, you're going to have 4. So now there's 53. So how do you do this? And if you have wide receivers, now you got to double them up. And so you got to pull it from somewhere. I think they want to keep 9, but they might have to only keep 8. And I think they could stash some of these guys on the practice squad, especially from their preseason performance. I think Drew Moss is a definite practice squad candidate coming into this point. Prince, he, to me, as that backup tackle, he was right tackle last game. I think he was 76. I'm still learning a lot of the numbers of guys. A lot of times I'll have to stop and wait, who is that at that number? I think it's Prince. He had like 3 false start penalties, so that was really rough. Kept points off the board for the 49ers, but he looked better than Pleasance to me. Austin Pleasance looked like he had the worst game of the offensive line. Nick Zakelj, he's in that backup guard / center role. Hennessy, to me, had a really poor game. So I think Nick Zakelj is going to be ahead of him for the backup center spot. Do you keep Hennessy just as a backup center? I don't know. Nick Zakelj, the question comes down to, can he make all the calls that are responsible for the center in the system, which is a big reason they've kept Jake Brendel, is for his abilities to handle everything at the line of scrimmage and make the calls. He's not the best physically gifted center, but he can make all the calls, and they obviously are really comfortable with him doing that.
It'd be interesting if the Niners do have an injury at center. Does it get to the point where Kyle says, you know what? I don't have confidence in the backup center to make those calls. Brock, we're going to have to put it on your plate. And that's something that you're going to have to start doing now because of all the injuries along the offensive line. I know that's something that a lot of people have wanted Kyle to do with Brock Purdy. I don't think that Kyle would ever choose to do it, but circumstances may dictate it this season. We will ultimately find out. We've got some film here. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so we're going to look at, this is the Raiders game. I mean, a lot of the run tape was rough. Some of it was offensive line, some of it was running back, some of it was tight ends. But I think Connor Colby has very much solidified his role as the number 2 guard, both left and right. He was taking snaps at right guard this last week, and I think that's in preparation to get him ready in case Pooney can't go. I think they've seen what they saw from Nick Zakelj and Connor Colby, and they like Connor Colby more, and I do as well. I think Connor Colby brings a little bit more than Nick Zakelj over here. So you're going to run a wide zone. Okay, this is our staple. What I love here from Connor Colby is he's got to cross the face of this one technique and seal him off. And that's a tough reach block. So sometimes we call this scoop a reach block. Gibbs called it a reach technique. So to get laterally down the line and cut this guy off, who's a good, body outside you, is not easy. Now this play gets blown up because guess what? Max Crosby's really good at football. So people will go, oh my gosh, everything. Well, you see Max Crosby, he's just going to shoot inside here and blow this whole thing up. Max Crosby is Max Crosby, and he gets paid what he did. Sometimes players like this are going to blow everything up. But what I love about Colby here is he gets across the guy's face, he seals, and yes, the guy kind of throws him down, but then he recovers and he seals him off. That is a win right there. You have sealed your guy off. If you can deal with Max Crosby, you got something here. But Max Crosby's Max Crosby. So I love that. Those were the measurables that you saw from Connor Colby coming out of college, was that he has really good foot speed. So that lateral movement's there. That's hugely important on plays like that, to be able to move down the line. We haven't always had that. Banks really struggled with that last year. So you see that they're saying we got to have somebody with foot speed. Another thing, I love this rep in pass pro. So this is down in the red zone. He's going to be one-on-one with a 3 technique. Watch his ability to engage and then shadow. So the guy's getting him. He anchors. He keeps the balance of his feet, and watch him play the shadow game. This is that offensive line drill we see all the time where they engage and they shuffle back and forth. This is it. He runs that to perfection, keeps Purdy clean, and was able to at least get out. They covered everything really well. Now, it's not all up. This was a really bad pass pro rep. So he's going to end up facing 9. He's kind of the Raiders' guy as far as outside of Max Crosby, that a player they move around a lot. So he's able to get under Colby's pads. He doesn't anchor well enough, and he just gets driven right into Brock's face. You don't like to see that. You don't like to see Brock getting planted like that. So this is an area you got to clean up. You got to keep your balance. Don't lean forward on that. Don't give up your chest. So a couple poor reps there. So Connor Colby, I'm seeing good things. I'm seeing not good things, but in the end, the arrow's up and he has the requisite foot speed.
And I think that, Brock is good enough and mobile enough to where if you just avoid those reps, right, there's the complete overwhelmed where you just get shoved backwards. Brock doesn't need perfect protection, but he needs you to not, get put on skates 10 yards into the backfield.
Right. So it's one of those situations, like if you're going to lose slow.
Yes.
Like die a slow death. If you're going to die a slow death. Don't die immediately. Give Brock enough time, because that pass pro rep ended the drive. We had Ricky open. It was 3rd down, and that happens, and the ball sails incomplete, and it ends a drive. So you can't have those drive killers in there. Continuing on with the offensive line, some of this, again, we saw this, and people would say all these negative plays, the offensive line is not giving me a lot of confidence. Some of this is on your running backs, and we've talked about this in the past, but this is a great example of why your running backs understanding things, that they have to understand things pre-snap to speed up their reads on this. This is like a quarterback having to make reads. They've got to see it and react and go. You don't have a whole lot of time to think, so you have to start the process before the snap even happens. We bring a guy in motion, and what the Raiders do is they drop a safety down, and then they slide Jamal Adams over. What this is Patrick Taylor in here, and I know he got hurt, but you have to understand something pre-snap, that when they have leveraged you on this, they have an overhang defender out here. He's out past the tight end. You're not going to go seal this edge off. This is a run that's going to aim for the outside foot of the tight end. You're not getting a seal on that safety. He has come down and he has a leverage point on your tight end. So your tight end's going to kick him out. Okay, well, that changes everything else here. George Kittle's going to come up. He's now not going to be able to seal off Jamal Adams. This is going to be a kick out. This means Spencer Burford has to go reach this wide defensive end. He's not reaching him. He's not sealing him off. It's going to be a kick out. So you can already say, I am cutting inside Spencer Burford at minimum. Like, that is the minimum cutback, like outside gap I have. And so Patrick Taylor has to realize that pre-snap. You want to keep your head pointed in the right direction, but as he takes a snap, he's got to be ready to run this thing down and probably get this down the hash. That's what you're looking at, is that all these guys are going to move and get it down the hash. And so this play looks really rough. Oh man, the offensive line, he's tackled for a 3-yard loss. Well, you got to read this out and get that process started as a running back sooner. So we're going to see the motion here. You're going to see it come over. You're going to see the bump of everything. All these guys bump over. And so Patrick Taylor's got to say, okay, they've bumped over. Man, this is going to be a tough reach for Connor Colby to go outside, and Spencer Burford and all these guys to get out here. Like, this is going to be tough. So I'm going to press the hole and cut up already pre-snap. And what you see is, as this plays out, that's exactly what happens. You can't quite get the reach here. Brendel he knew it pre-snap. He said he saw the move pre-snap, and he said, I'm going to drive this defensive tackle down. We're going to wash everything down. We're going to get up on the linebacker. We're going to wash all of this down, and we're going to run right behind my butt, is what he's saying. Well, you don't get that. You know, Dominic Pooney needs to pick up this a little bit better, but you got flow over. Patrick Taylor should cut this right through here, and you're going to see it. Boom, there it was down the seam. You have the hole, and it was there pre-snap. And so, like, that's a running back not ready to make his cut. He takes a false step here. It's kind of hard to see, but he takes a false step, and when he plants on this inside foot, that should be his outside foot by the details of the run game, and it needs to be cutting up.
Make the cutback. He can't cut back on the wrong foot.
Right. So his footwork's off. He's not ready for the cutback. You see, he's not even secured the ball fully already. He's just not ready to do that. He's not ready for the plant and go. So I've had people push back on me on stuff like this. I'm like, well, okay. Looks like I started this one a little early or a little late, but here's Corey Kiner. So we're going to have the same sort of look. You know, you can't reach that. You know, you can't reach this. You're going to be getting up on there. So this is going to be a wall down. You're going to get Brendel up on the second level. Pleasance is going to try and seal off the back end. Okay. So now you get a very similar look. This is the same run play, but your running back understands he's going to be cutting this up a lot sooner, and watch the pop that happens. Whoop, there it is. That's the difference.
Such a difference.
Yeah. So that's just for people to show people, like, this is what it looks like when the running back doesn't read it right. This is what it looks like when the running back does read it right. And so now we're going to see some rough reps from the offensive line. They're going to try and run a wide zone away, and Nick Zakelj has got to reach on this 3 technique. We saw Connor Colby able to do it this way. Nick Zakelj, you got to reach on this. Now, I'm not sure what Matt Hennessy's doing here. He wants to try and block down, and he's supposed to take this guy if he comes inside, but he just starts walling this down, and he runs it way too far and then tries to get up on Jamal Adams. He needs to just move off to the second level. Like, unless his first 2 steps got to be lateral and then get up to the second level. But he runs down too far. So Nick Zakelj is trying to scoop this, and Hennessy isn't giving him any help here in the sense he's helping him, but he's not helping him because he's just driving this guy down. I think he assumed that Nick Zakelj wasn't going to get the scoop, and so he's trying to drive him down and then get up here. But this needs to get scooped. Nick Zakelj's just got to make that reach block. And so this whole thing, because you end up just running that defensive tackle right into the run lane. Nick Zakelj's got to keep his feet moving laterally a little bit more and get out there. He holds it up too long. So it's ugly. It's not what I want to see, what you want to see from the offensive line. Because it's just an ugly rep. It doesn't match with what Keyshawn Vaughn is doing. Everybody's just out of sorts. And then you have same sort of thing here. Austin Pleasance has got a reach on this 4I/3, and Nick Zakel's got to help him a little bit longer before coming up to the second level. He's got to get an arm out here, slow this guy down a little bit, let Pleasance come across and seal him off. This is when you've got to make. You can't just wall this down. You got to cut off the backside guy, and they just don't do it. And he gets run down into the run lane. So I'll try and run that at half speed because I know these things are hard to see sometimes. But you got to help a little bit longer and then go get your man. And Pleasance has got to be able to reach this. He's not able to. He gets on there, but he doesn't have any sort of anger. He's just going to get driven down the line into the hole. Now, I will say an honorable mention here goes to Luke Farrell for his block as a tight end, because this is a very much a bite your kneecaps off sort of block right here. So kudos to him for not getting a flag for grabbing the ankles of the defender when you can't get the block. But so that's why I say, like, Pleasance, I'm not real impressed with the foot speed as far as for our offensive system. Nick Zakel has been okay, not great. I think Pleasance and Hennessy, if you look at the top 9, are the two odd men out there. And if it's me, I'm saying I would rather not have one of those guys in there and rather have Drew Moss as the developmental guy.
That's why we pay Luke Farrell the big bucks, by the way, to just flail and grab the ankle as the guy is running past you. I've not been impressed with him this preseason.
Hey, look, he learned that in Detroit, right? I may get knocked down, but I'll bite your kneecaps off on the way back up.
Okay, like Luke Farrell, they were singing his praises. He was such a good signing. He's going to allow George Kittle to do so much. And like, I can remember 2 plays from Luke Farrell this preseason. That one and the one against the Broncos where he couldn't get over in time to block and the play got blown up. And it's like, damn, man, you got one job.
Yeah, I will say blocking tight ends is a lost art right now in the NFL. Like, we do not appreciate George Kittle enough. We appreciate him a lot for his run blocking, but we still don't appreciate him enough. Like, this is a lost art. We're going to see a similar play here. Nick Zakel and Austin Pleasance, they don't work this out right. Zakel should give him a little bit more help, but Pleasant's got to make this reach and seal the backside man off, and he can't. And same thing, gets run down right into the run lane. Like, that is just not going to cut it. So I'm looking at Pleasance. Wasn't great in pass pro. Wasn't great on the backside sealing off. That's something Colton McKivitz is much better at. So I am not feeling very confident in Austin Pleasance as our backup tackle. There's a reason Spencer Burford got the guaranteed money. He's going to be the swing tackle. Austin Pleasance has got to be better. I think they're going to try and stash him on the practice squad, but I don't know. And speaking of Spencer Burford, here's why you keep him. I know, we love to bag on Spencer Burford, and look, he has his moments. I am not the biggest Spencer Burford fan in the world, but when you can get a lineman up on the second level, this is what's going to make runs pop. He's able to get there and then go cut off your linebacker. And now you got a run lane. Now you got this, your receiver, this is Demarcus Robinson. He gets a good seal off block. Way to go, man. You're going to be suspended, but that's what we love to see. Bring it on week 4. You get that. You get Tonjes as a lead blocker coming up, and you've sprung old man Wilson for an explosive. You get 10 yards. That's an explosive run. Like that. That's the metric for an explosive run.
We need Jeff Will. Like, we're in a position where we need Jeff Wilson in a very real way this year.
Yeah, 100%. And so, you see, okay, when you can get on that second level, when you can execute your blocks, the run lanes are there and running backs can exploit these things, but it's about everybody working together. These 2 guys on the end, they are not working this correctly. I don't know 100% what's wrong here, but that's not how this is supposed to look. So there's something there between Pleasance and Nick Zakel, and guys are just getting mashed in there. Not impressed with their game. You're running a wide zone here. Hennessy and Pleasance can't win on theirs. They're supposed to execute their blocks. You don't. Hennessy doesn't win on his. He's not able to reach and scoop. Pleasance can't get across and scoop the backside. So now you have the run has come down, and those guys condense the lanes and make the tackle. That's what I'm seeing over and over again. And we've seen on this is that Austin Pleasance and Hennessy, to me, were just their games were bad. And that had a lot to do with it. Now, again, not everything is on the 49ers offensive line. We look at these and we say every bad run is on the 49ers offensive line. I've taken a lot of shots at Braden Willis this offseason, and I'm going to continue because I do not understand what the 49ers see in them. That's not me trying to be a hater. I just don't know what they see in him. We're running a pin and pull or a crack toss. He's going to crack on the end, and we're going to pull Pleasance out to block. Just watch what happens here with Braden Willis on this play. He's just got to keep this defensive end from flying outside, and watch this play.
He just gets pushed around. My God, he gets pushed exactly where he's not supposed to be.
I mean, when I say I'm trying not to be a hater, I'm trying. He starts at the hash. Okay, let's understand that. He starts at the hash. His man ends at the numbers. You have not blocked that man at all.
Right. It's like if you weren't there, he would be in the exact same spot.
Yeah. So I don't know what they see in Braden Willis. I have no confidence in him as a blocker in this offense. I'm hoping it's George Kittle, Luke Farrell, Jake Tonjes. I'm not the biggest Tonjes fan, but those three guys, even though we saw from Farrell and Tonjes in the last couple of games that their blocking hasn't been perfect, it hasn't been that bad. I mean, I do not understand what they see in Braden Willis at all anymore. Like, I would say, okay, maybe an athletic receiving tight end, but I haven't seen the athletic receiving tight end portion of it. So I don't even know.
I feel like every time he's in, something bad happens, a blown block, a penalty. Like, sorry, I just do that. I'm scarred here by Braden Willis. It is amazing to me that they have not, but they found one tight end, George Kittle, and they hit he's a Hall of Famer. But other than that, they can't find another one. They don't know what the hell they're looking for.
I mean, it really does become concerning. Like, how do they miss on so many tight ends? And then any of them that can at least be functional blockers, they let walk. And I go, I don't know. And when you can't keep a wide receiver hurt, you got to have some tight ends. You got to be able to run some big tight end sets. So I'm not super confident they're going to be able to come out and run 3 tight end sets and have use check out there at all. Like, because I'm not seeing it. So I don't know. I go, there's got to be somebody better. I mean, you cannot tell me that Cam Latu was as bad as Braden Willis is showing. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting though, because I think, like, considering the health of the wide receiver room or lack thereof, in week 1, do they just say, bleep it? Let's just have 2 tight ends on the field at all times, 3 tight ends on the field at all times, because we just don't have the wide receiver bodies. But if they can't execute the blocks and make the things happen that you're talking about, the offense is just going to stagnate.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be, they're going to line up mano a mano and say, we believe that our defensive players are going to beat their blocks. And so you can have the greatest play designed, but we're going to blow up your blocks and it's not going to work. And it would be very, very frustrating to watch a 49ers offense like that. Just really, really frustrating to watch. You've got to be able to at least execute some blocks, get the ball in your playmakers' hands, and at least let them the opportunity to do something. If you can't even let them have the opportunity to do anything, it's going to be beyond painful to watch.
Well, there goes my smile, Johnny.
Well, yeah. Great. But we might get Dominic Puni back by week 1. We might.
God help us. Dom, heal up, sleep, eat vegetables. I don't know what you can do. Get in the tub or out of the tub or in the sun. I don't know what the hell you got to do. But please get there because we desperately need you. And we'll see, obviously, if he is there. We've got one more preseason game to go. If you have something that you want to see us break down on film, leave it in the comments. Leave it in your 5-star review on Apple Pods, and we're happy to break it down and get to you there. We'll have a real roster by the time we next meet up, Johnny. So that'll answer some of the questions that you've asked. But thank you as always, for joining me. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we hope you have a good rest of your Thursday.